Muy buenas tardes, everyone. I hope everybody's doing well, blessed, and enjoying family. Bueno, mi gente, first and foremost, I want to thank everybody, as usual, for you guys' words, prayers, and your time to hear me out and support me on getting my message out there. De corazón se los agradezco. I appreciate you. Gracias. Now, on this one, I want to touch a little bit on the inner works, on how, I usually come on here and say that they're always stepping on each other's toes. They're envy of the next member. And in the midst, camaradas get caught up and they get done dirty, which today I want to touch a little bit deeper to make a little bit more sense, right? And for this, I want to talk about Eddie Castro, or Deadeye from VNE, the Pili that, when I hit Pelican Bay, he was there as an active member, but certain things were happening when it came to him stretching his arm out and having workers, and how it would always circle around and, his workers would get the bad end of the stick. A lot of people address his demise with Chuco, his brother, right? And being one of the biggest, I don't want to say the word, but you guys know what I'm trying to say. The one that was supposed to be a general, implementing all these rules and regulations to those that were weak-minded in his eyes. And it became something even worse, right? But anyways, yes, of course, as you guys know, within themselves, they're just waiting for that window to let the man to politic against one of them. Especially, when you think about B&E, Hazard, and all that little surrounding area. There's money there. There's loyal camaradas from that area. Not to say that there ain't from other areas, right? But, it's just, when it comes to politics, it just wiggles different, right? East LA. But, Eddie had a good soldado, which was Shadow from his neighborhood. And I came to know Shadow in Salinas Valley. I have not gotten in that far in my story. I just don't want to bore you guys with my story back to back, right? So anyways, Shadow was holding a position for him out there in Salinas Valley. And, when you really think about it, Deadeye was receiving crumbs compared to other Pilis, right? Cause he wasn't on the shine 100%, but you could tell that, once he started picking up movement, there was always something that prevented him to do so. But, I once was conversating with a real high respected camarada. He wasn't a member, and, but he had that trust, from other members, which the one that told him this was Güero Caballo. He actually trusted in him that, they were sitting, or like they say, rocking him to sleep. Cause, there was certain dilemmas, issues that they could have looked past the Chuco incident, right? Cause at the end of the day, the ones Chucos did that to, most of them were in the feds. So, as you guys know, they always look for something to separate themselves from the next member. Basically trying to pinpoint that one's better than the next, right? And, but what really pushed it is something that, as camaradas, campoleros, were obligated to uphold to the highest, which is, sex crimes, rat, things like that. We're not to permit it to no degree. But when it comes to them, it's allowed in the organization, right? and they're money makers. They bring it to the mesa, so it's Emme business. Nobody could dispute or say anything, which was the case with Smokey from B&E. You know, there was a time where he was implementing amongst them that whoever had a sex crime on the streets and on the inside, they were going to get clipped. You know, they were going to check all the señores paperwork, and there was just no room for it. Now, as you guys know, man, you want to get technical, you know, a lot of people call this individual legends. There's nothing legend about them, man. There's a gang of trash in the organization. And that's the bottom line. I mean, look at Topo. Look what Boxer had. Danny Boy. Look, Sapo. I mean, really analyze it, and there's a lot less of them that are clean. Cause you hear about all these vatos that are registered, right? Or that are for that crime on the streets. But do you really know the vatos that before they got slammed in 98, that in their words, they hustle camaradas? They had a fish, a young homie sell up with them, and, you know, like the boy. And not only that, but they hustled him by renting him out without getting into details, right? So it was permitted amongst them to use those crimes on their own raza, on the ones they opened the way for, per se. You know, I laugh when individuals come on here and they glorify what this individual's done. And, you know, to some degree, they held their ground as raza. But then what it became? I mean, let's dismiss everything, but really think about it. As a youngster, you're getting busted when these vatos were walking the line, and you're a youngster, and, you know, ahí te voy, abre. And then, not only that, but you're obligated to go with other races to make some feria for them to keep getting high. See, the bottom line is that, exactly. It's always about their feria and their dope. You know, there's a lot of people on here that have the proper clecha, and instead of putting the message the way they should, because they know better, they tend to say, I was there with them in the shoe. I held friendships with them. Then speak about it. Or just don't speak about it, period, right? You say things to what's convenient for you. But we all know how things turned out, right? There's no sense of keep playing a part, man. Anyways, ay disculpen. This is a touchy subject for me, you know, when it comes to this type of crimes. It's no matter who's is on. They're trash, period. But anyways, back to Eddie. You know, when this was going on, of course, you know, Deadeye backed up the other Billy from his neighborhood. And as I was told, you know, there was actually about 10 Billys that were with Smokey. The rest, chales. They were actually plotting on moving on the Billy Smokey for this reason. There was a lot more to gang for them to remove Smokey than to follow Smokey and remove all the members that had trash on their jacket. And let's be sincere, just don't take my word for it. You know what? Just sit down, think about it, and analyze the ones you know that are trash. Cause I met a grip that had them charges, or that had them snitch charges on them, and they were being shielded by a member. So, you know, if you're shielding a rapist or a rat, that makes you the same. Don't matter cause he's giving you money, cause he's putting dope in your veins. You're still protecting one of them, and automatically you should become one of them, right? But you see, everybody dismisses all this. But Deadeye, to a sense, he was in limbo, right? He was being looked at for Chuco's thing from the feds, and there was a lot of jealousy going on for the area where he comes from. And he started pressing this line and started pressing buttons on other members on what things should be. For one, I know at least 4 Billys from Hazard has these charges on them, and Hazard V&E, the same area, you know. So of course they were rocking him to sleep, and you could say the downfall of Eddie again was the homie Shadow from his neighborhood that was really supportive when it came. You see, I don't know if I spoke on. You see, the homie had a seat on the mesa in Salinas. And the one that was supporting him was a homie I spoke on another channel, which was another shadow from Third Street. And what happened was a vato from East LA, to be exact, he was from Maravilla, but he was with the homies side, right? He was answering up to the Phillies, and he was considered a sureño when things were a little bit different amongst Maravilla and the homies, right? But this vato had them charges. And of course, they sent out word, and at first there was pushback. They weren't to be touched. Why? Because they were reporting Jale and Feria. This vato from Maravilla had a lot of support from his people, and wherever he landed, he had the bag. So they wanted access to that. All that, he was trash. He messed with them type, or he had those charges suspended. That wasn't important. You see, to them it's something normal. And I know I'm going to probably get a lot of backlash for this, but just again, sit down and really analyze this. But to push forward on the story, this is when they had that movement again with Smokey that wasn't going to be permitted anymore. Everybody was going to be under investigation for this. So of course, Deadeye felt that confianza, trust to tell Shadow, go ahead. Even if they don't agree, handle it. Whatever happens, I'll support you. But, for those that are smart, knows that, again, if you're under one pili, what one pili tells you don't really have a lot of meaning to it. Because the overall calls the shot. Right? All that they're all equal, nah. At the end of the day, one alone will buckle to what others want to do, for the fact that they know their number will be called on. And those are just facts. Anyways, after this, they moved on Shadow. The other Shadow from Third was able to wiggle through, as I will get into his story too. And then from then on, it was a known fact, Wherever Eddie had hinted working for him, it was a wrap. It was just a matter of time before things got called on to where they needed to go. They would just give it a little bit of time to actually put an excuse, a valid excuse for something that wasn't there, to remove the camaradas. Just for the fact they couldn't tolerate that they were pushing on this issue that would have cleared house. Not just amongst camaradas and not just amongst them, right? But they would have lost Feria dope, that's what's important, right? So, as you guys know how things turn out, it didn't help that he got out, and instead of building up his soldado base to strengthen himself, he got out and he started chasing the drug and doing what they all do, right? I get backslash for what I say, that when I say there is good Baileys, but in reality I don't mean nothing. And those are facts. I disculpen that I say it like that, but the gatos call the shot when it comes to that clica. That's why again I laugh when people try to put these individuals in a pedestal, first and foremost, because they know better, right? They talk about being there firsthand with them, and they want to call them a legend. Come on. And second of all, knowing real well, or knowing that everybody knows, that when you parole with your butt first. But anyway, I don't want to be distracted. To get back to the point, again, Eddie Boy, when he got out, the call was made, I don't need to point fingers to not one, but it came from Hazard, and it was a wrap. The thing is, since Pelican Bay, it was a wrap with him. But, that's part of being misleaded, right? Playing along and till they get what they want. They just gotta play their cards right to not be the next, because they know that's always an option when it comes to them. But again, I could sit here and name at least 10 camaradas that never did nothing wrong, but supported one of them that at the time was active in good standings, but he wasn't respected amongst them, so it was easier for them to keep clipping camaradas that were loyal to him. He had not taken that dive or nothing. It was just what they wanted. That's their loyalty. Again, everything's based on lies, about raza, and I'm not just talking about oppressing the norteños or the NF or anything, but really think about it. You know, I went in the system as a youngster. Of course, it would have never happened because, I was a dummy like that. But, there's a lot of young homies that go in and what they want is to program and do their time. So imagine they go up in there and they in a cell with someone they're supposed to hold high, sacrifice everything for, go earn their stripes to, and next thing you know, wait till he falls asleep so that this individual that holds the highest position, legend to those that say, could creep up and take that. And then afterwards, rent them out. And you don't have a choice. Those are the type of people that opened up the pavement for Raza. Come on now. But anyways, I don't want to lose track. It's shameful what happened with Eddie. But my crossing with him when I was out there was just respectful. Again, I was told when I went up there that whatever he said wasn't to be taken seriously. It was to be directed through or screened by two other Pilis beforehand, which I never had to go through that route, right? But, again, I could name 10 camaradas that were doing everything right. Their only mistake was being loyal to one Pili. So again, don't allow vatos to get out and just cause they're homeboys, read their actions. There's nothing inside. You're gonna go in there and chase a Tecatos Feria, dope, and if you don't do so, you're gonna hear about it. Cause it ain't no more about what you have on your jacket, on your C-file, what you do from yard to yard, what you do for the causa. It's about what you can give them for the vena. It's what you can put in their pocket. You know what I mean? I know I sound like a broken record. I promised someone I was gonna touch on Eddie Boy. And, my crossings with him were to stay away, respect, but stay away. And I knew about the things happening in Salinas Valley, cause before I hit the bay, I was on the yard with Shadow, as I would talk on. But anyways, mi gente, it is why I always tell everybody, stay true to yourself. I mean, dismiss everything. When things unfolded with me again, when God got in my head that day, where to me it was always easier to take someone out and just being sincere. And he really put that doubt that day. Afterwards, I had time to sit down and really value myself. And, that's why I come on here. That's all I come on here for, sit down, value yourself, value your family, value those things. You see, a true camarada will never tell you go earn your stripes by sitting in a jail cell, following a Tecato's rules and regulations. That campolero ain't there no more. At least the causa. It's just non-existent since they've been out the shoe. But if a camarada of anybody comes and tells you to go do that and go through them heartaches, he ain't your camarada. See, a righteous camarada will tell you, man, get a pad, get a car, get a lady, raise your kids. I was talking to a camarada. I don't want to say his name because I don't know how he feels about it, but he was telling me he was there with his kids. That's something beautiful, man. Value yourself, love your family, treasure those little things that take it from a dummy, But anyways, I'll just leave it there. I hope I made sense of everything. Again, I send my love always for whatever it's worth. My respects. Please stay true to yourself and loyal to your loved ones. Buenas noches.